Would you allow your son to take this path like these two young entrepreneurs?
1,000%.
But then he says, okay, mom, like, I don't think I need to finish school. Like, look at where I'm. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah.
Couple of videos that we came across this
Yes.
week that you actually sent me, which I thought was very cool. The first one I'm actually going to talk about is called Cluely.
Yeah, so to be honest, I came across the post because I think the founder, he has another app, right, that he sold.
It's called Interview Coder.
Right. So then I think that's how I came across this post. So to be honest, like Sarah and I were just looking at Cluely. I'm not 1,000% sure
Yeah, we were a
exactly
little bit
what it is,
confused.
but we think it is, there are a lot of meeting assistants out there with AI, and Cluely, it's sort of the invisible ones that take notes for you, so other people don't know that.
He's 22, entrepreneur, currently owns a tech company that is basically worth over $100 million. He actually went to Harvard, got accepted at Harvard, got kicked out.
Right.
And then because he got kicked out, he was super embarrassed,
Yeah.
lived with his parents for a year. And that was where he learned how to program.
Right.
And shortly after that, he decided to go to community college. And then that's when he actually started another app called Talkie.
Oh, okay.
For seniors.
Oh,
Basically, it's an app that helps seniors to FaceTime with other seniors.
Okay.
Easier.
Yeah, like maybe one click button.
Yeah, maybe the buttons are bigger.
Yeah,
I don't know,
like make it
just
friendlier.
Makes it
That makes
easier,
sense.
right?
Yeah.
And by the time he was 21, he went to University of Columbia, and that was how Interview Coder happened.
Right.
Sold it for $3 million, and he used all that money to build his startup right now, which is Cluely. Which, I mean,
that
all of
itself
those
is very
information
impressive.
is very impressive for a 22-year-old.
This is becoming more and more common that there are a lot of, I call them kids, but like, I mean, they're like, in their 20s or like in their late teens that are having these startups that are becoming very successful or exit for like, like millions of dollars. And that is all, a lot of it, it's in the power of AI, right? So you can kind of see the shift of what's happening with the future generation and what can happen.
Yeah.
Right?
It's such a wide range of options that people can do now, or kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you always hear like, all these, what was it like, the startup companies back in the day that is like a Harvard dropout or a Stanford dropout that have all these,
credentials.
Yes. And then, they have the roommate or like a couple other people. And
like
then
Facebook.
Exactly. Like Facebook, right?
Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg.
Right. So then that we know like that happens. But now with AI, I strongly believe that that's going to happen more and more because now you have the ability to write apps or not write, to create
learn
apps
how to write
and things
programs.
Like, yes,
AI.
without having the technical expertise, you just have an idea. And as long as the idea is good, then you can
run with
have
it.
an app. Yeah.
And then another one that we came across, which I like that one way more, it relates to my current life more, would be an app called CalAl. This app was actually built by a 19-year-old with a group of his friends.
And am I right? He was still in school, I believe, when he was
still in school
building this app.
Yeah, so it from the research that we've done, he built the app in high school.
Yes.
Sold it to FitnessPal, built and sold for $40 million in under 2 years before he was 19.
Yes.
So how he did it was he would work on Sunday nights with his friends.
Right.
I think 4 of them. Correct me if I'm wrong. And knowing that they still have school on Monday, they actually built the entire app without any funding or a college degree.
Amazing.
So how the app works is kind of like My Fitness Pal, I guess. You open up the app.
Right.
You take a picture of the food that you are eating. It basically recognizes the food metrics.
Yeah.
And it's a 90% accuracy
rate.
rate.
With all the macros, right?
Correct.
Perfect.
And it's $2.49 per month that you are paying for the subscription.
Right.
And in
So
15
worth it if you're in like doing the health journey, right?
It
That's
is.
like at the price of half a protein bar.
Exactly. You want to know anything and everything that you're eating. You want to track it all.
Yes.
And I think the 90% accuracy rate, that to me
That
is
is
quite impressive.
Yeah.
So within 15 months, 18 million downloads.
That's amazing.
And while he was doing that, Yada Gary, I believe that's his name, was still able to go to school and maintain a 4.0 GPA.
Some people are just really smart.
I
do not expect them.
I was mind blown.
Perhaps back in the day, they have an idea.
Yeah.
Let's say I am an art student, right? And I have this idea about this app, but I now need to meet people that have the technical expertise to build the app, right? And it might be hard. And they'll be like, oh, forget it. Like, I'm not going to do this.
At that age, where do you go to meet these people?
Exactly.
Right?
But now, with all these platforms that are available, then you can just have an idea and we call like vibe coding, basically using human language, and you can come up with an app within like minutes. That's the beauty of it, right? I have like, we call it MVP, a minimal viable product, and it costs nothing, right? So if you're and your buddy that are playing hockey, and you have this genius idea and you have no coding background, now you can make something out of it, right? Maybe spend a weekend, do a bit of research how to vibe code, and then you can have a product that is geared completely towards your hockey interest or any interest
obviously,
that you have. This is not just for the younger generations, across all generations, anybody. And that's the power of why AI is blowing up right now, making more entrepreneurs out there. So I do think it is beneficial in that way, right? Yeah.
So that kind of brings me into the question of, is he going to graduate?
Probably.
Is he like, okay, I made all this money.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the money, invest, build something better.
Well, back in the day, you see like Stanford dropouts and things like that to have started on startup, right? But now, with this as an example,
is it necessary?
You don't need to drop out of school. You don't need to drop out of your university or high school even, right? To pursue something that you think has potential, like an app.
Would you allow your son to take this path like these two young entrepreneurs?
1,000%.
But then he says, okay, mom, like, I don't think I need to finish school. Like, look at where I'm at.
You know
what? This is where I'm going. I see a future in, I don't know, whatever it is. Would you support him and say, okay, like if that's what you want to do and you want to continue with it, let's keep it going? Or would you say no, like you have to finish school?
To be honest, I thought about that before. I was like, my goal is for him to have a startup. And if he drops out of school, I've met enough people. I've seen enough things
where you can see.
I'm like, okay, do I see a potential in this idea or whatever it is, that startup that you and then my husband as well. If we believe in your team, like his buddy or whatever, your partner and the product, I would be supportive because you know what? He would be like, 18, 19, 20. And if it doesn't go well, and that's the time to fail, right? You can go back to school, right? And you learn. At least for young entrepreneurs or any entrepreneurs, I think, it's not inevitable, but the chance of failing or you have to pivot, it's
you gotta
a high probability.
Yes,
but
gotta
if you
learn
take
from
that
experience.
Yes, and if you're 19, you're young. So follow what your gut, and instead of regretting, and then you can always go back to school, right?
So you would prefer him to find an interest and maybe start a build up over climbing that traditional corporate ladder.
And I follow the AI world news quite closely, and things are happening on a weekly basis, right? And it is really fascinating. And when I see this kind of news, the first thing I think of is how our future generation, our kids' generation, would change. Nobody knows, right? Like how things, because it's changing at such a rapid pace that it's impossible to guess in 10 years when there are adults, like what kind of jobs are out there. There really isn't nobody knows. But I think what we can do now for our young generation, the kids that are in like elementary, like high school, middle school, is to build them
Prepare them.
skills, prepare them for the skills that it doesn't matter how AI world changes our society, that they will still have
The
those skills
skills,
to
yes,
carry
I
them.
agree. The skills that you learn is going to carry you throughout
Exactly.
whatever
Maybe not
journey
necessarily
it
the
is that you are
technical
doing.
skills
I
that you
agree.
learn, from school,
Yeah.
but other skills. Yes.
For me, it's so what's the word? It's very different. I have a very different perspective
What's your take,
for
Sarah?
my son versus
Yeah.
my daughter.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why is
I
that?
can see that again, I could be wrong. Who
Mhm.
knows where the future
Yeah.
will take
Yeah,
us,
they're still
right?
young. They're
For
still young.
for my son that
Yeah.
is the same age as Emily's son.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say um picking post secondary is going to be end all be all
Mhm.
for him.
Mhm.
I just don't
Yeah.
see. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I could
you
be
could. Yeah.
really wrong,
Yeah.
but I just don't see it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
And
not everyone's meant to
for it,
excel academically.
exactly.
1,000%.
Which now I have no choice but to accept that
Yeah.
like that is
No,
okay.
yeah.
Because for our parents, they're like, you
Yeah.
got to do this,
Yeah.
you got to do
Yeah.
that, because
I-
if you don't do this and that,
Yeah.
then you won't get
Yeah.
the result.
Like some people just can't do math and some people just can't do science. But they're amazing when it comes to art,
Other things,
sports. So I have a theory that your kid is going to be great at something. And as a parent, you just want to discover what that something is.
At the end of the
So many
day, there is
possibilities.
still that little bit of
Yeah.
hope that I
Yeah.
would want him to, because
Yeah.
being in post secondary, whether it's university or
Yeah.
college, or there was that fun. It was
Yeah.
different,
Yeah, it
you
was
know,
different.
and I think it would be so nice for them to be able
Yeah.
to experience that.
This day and age with AI, right? And our technology, you just really don't. You can be having a meaningful, successful life in
Without having that
yes,
certificate.
yes,
No, I agree.
yes,
I
right?
agree. So
If that's not your path, right? And this is, I don't think it's just for kids. It's just like for
anybody, yeah.
anybody, any generation, that if you want to pursue something else,
Like he's
AI
like
can
my
make
son
it
is super
happen.
creative, so I
Mhm.
know he's going to thrive in an
Yeah.
area where that his
Yeah.
interest and creativity can take him.
Mhm.
Whereas for my daughter,
Yeah.
I can see it with her.
Yes.
The potential is there.
Yeah.
So I think it's really up to my partner and I to foster
Yeah.
that in her. Academically, she's
Yeah.
thriving.
Yeah.
We just had the parent interview yesterday.
Oh, how did it go?
The only concern, it wasn't really a concern. The only area that she has to work on is just her behavior.
Okay.
That was it. But
Is she talkative?
academically, you know what? She is, but now I think she knows when is the right time to talk.
Yeah.
And she needs to learn to have a little bit more patience
Yeah.
to raise her hand. And
Okay.
again, she's
Yeah,
in
and
grade
she's young.
one. Like,
Exactly.
they're
like-
learning these things as
Yeah,
we go.
no,
And one of the
that's
things that the
perfect. That's
teacher
not a
said
concern, yeah.
was, you know, in first term, they're not quite settled in yet. So
Yes,
they're
that's very
really
true.
on their toes,
Well,
making
even
sure
grade
they're
one in general.
yeah, then they're really making sure they're doing their things correctly. And,
Mhm.
you know, they want to impress the teacher.
Yeah.
By the time term 2 comes around,
Yes.
they're a little bit more in their comfort zone.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
as tidy,
And they may
as
be like
organized.
trying as hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's like, you know,
Yeah,
you just need
yeah.
to be more organized
Yeah,
and
yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
I'm like,
No, for
listen,
sure.
I know these things
Yeah.
with her. We're working on it at home.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you said in the report card and in this interview, I am not surprised at all.
Yeah.
It's the same thing we see at home.
Yeah.
Again, same with my son
Yeah.
too. The things that we talked about at school, we were not surprised. But yeah, with my daughter, I do have a little bit of a higher expectation.
The good news is I do think that the possibility is endless.
Yeah, and
for
with her
our-
too.
our
Like,
future
you know,
generation.
again, we're raising kids in an era where AI is very predominant.
Yes.
Who
yes.
knows? Maybe she will come up with a startup company
Yes,
that will
yeah.
be amazing. And
Yeah.
she could be like Yada Gary, where she's like, okay, I'm going to keep a 4.0 average and
Yes.
keep going to school and build an amazing
Yep.
opportunity. Right?
It's important.
I'm also interested to know what our audience's perspectives
Yes.
are with regards to their children, you know, maybe going into post-secondary, maybe not.
Or if they are going to post-secondary, will, because of what's happening now with AI, change their concentration, you know, what they want to major in, what they, you know.
Yeah. Because even for me, like I went to university because my parents wanted me to. Did I succeed in it? Absolutely not. It was not my cup of tea. It was just not for me. And eventually, kind of like the guy who went to Cluely, I went from university to college. I had a much better time in college. It was something I wanted to do. It was something I liked. But that transition from university to college, I thought my parents would freak out about me.
But being Chinese parents, yes. But you already got your degree already, so like
I actually didn't completely finish.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like
so okay, then I see where the issue could be.
So my dad was like, well, why don't you just do it? Like finish it. And go. I'm like, I can't. It's not for me. Like
I got it.
At first, I thought he would go insane. Like crazy on me, because he was like, you gotta do this, do that. And just like how my life is right now compared to you, I'm just like a reverse. Like I just did everything backwards. It was like that for school too. I did what they wanted me to do, but I hated it. And then I didn't even get to finish it completely. But then I went to go do something else where I thrived, and you
became really good at what you did.
Exactly. And they're like, okay, I see it.
No,
so
for
then
sure.
that expectation from me obviously dwindled. And then when it came to my sister going into university, they didn't care what it is, like what
because
how
they saw that you succeeded.
Didn't work with me. It didn't work.
But so then you did something, and then you succeeded in a career.
Exactly. So then they're like,
without
okay,
getting
I guess it's a little bit
it's true.
important.
I was like, I want to do makeup. I want to be a makeup artist. Dead serious. And I was like, this is my passion. Like, I think I'll be good at it. And I'm very strong-willed, so my parents couldn't be like, no. But my mom did have a condition that was like, okay, fine. Like, if that's what you want to do, get your degree. And once you're done your degree, I don't care what you do. And then, to be honest, I did get my degree in business, and I didn't want to be a makeup artist anymore. But then I joke with her now, even, hey, who knows? If I could have been like the best, I could be like Patrick Ta. I could be like Charlotte Tilbury. Who knows? Nobody knows. I could have been her. Like, you know, and
did you do it because your parents
actually
wanted you to?
You know, okay, to be fair, I did think, you know, university was, I never, because again, it's who I hung out with in high school. All my friends, it wasn't even a question because I was in IB that, you know, are you going to go to university? Or like my close friends, at least. It was like, which university?
That is true. All of my friends at the time, we all knew which university we wanted to go. And
so, I mean, I probably would have.
You know, for my son too, I'm like, I don't know, like it would be nice. But am I asking you to go down that path because I want you to, or is this just what you want, you know? But going back to what you were saying, the friends that you hang out with, it makes you want to
1,000%,
you know, whatever it is. I do agree with that because I knew all of my friends were going somewhere and I didn't want to not do the same thing. In hindsight, if I don't know, maybe start off with college, I could have gone even further and better of whatever it is that I wanted to do at the time. But I still have no regret. Like the experience that I got from being at university, it was great. You know, you learn about yourself, you learn about independence.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
And we're not saying like, you know, university and getting that certificate or degree, diploma, it's for everybody.
No.
But my take is, I do want my son, you know, and especially now I know he has the ability without, you know, struggling too much to get into probably a university. That I do want that path. It's,
of course,
you know, the gap year. So, how do we feel about gap year?
I'm going to start off saying I grew up in Ontario.
Yes.
So back in the day, I think I remember up until I was in grade 9, Ontario had
Grade
grade
13.
13. It
What
was
the,
called
was there a term?
OAC.
Okay, OAC.
OAC.
Yes.
And then by the time I think I was in grade, yeah, nine or 10,
They got rid of it, right?
OAC was gone.
Yes.
Again, in hindsight,
Is that like, I mean, I obviously didn't go to Ontario, our school in Ontario. So it's grade 13, like an extra year.
it is.
You kind of think about the courses you want to take.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I wish that I had the opportunity to go into grade 13 OAC because
Yeah.
by the time I went into university, I was 17. My
Okay.
birthday's in November.
Yeah.
So I'm a late baby.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't even legal. Like, I
Okay.
swear my
You're
brain
young.
cells were not even completely formulated before I went
No,
into
for sure.
university.
For sure.
You know? So, and my parents were super strict. I had no freedom.
Mhm.
My only thing was I want to have freedom and be out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was not ready for university. That,
Okay.
like, studying was not on my forefront.
Okay.
It was like, I
Yeah.
got the freedom and I didn't know how
Got
to
it.
control it.
Yeah.
So if I had that one extra year, maybe it would have still ended up being the same way.
Mhm.
But I think that if I had that one extra year where I did have more time to think about what it is that I
Right.
wanted to
Okay.
do, I would have done better.
Okay.
So with that being said, what my thoughts on gap year is, I think if that kid feels like they want to, I'm not opposed to it. However, within that gap year, you are not sitting at home doing nothing.
Right.
You are finding a job.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're washing toilets
Yeah.
at McDonald's.
Yeah.
You got to do something.
Right.
You
To
know,
figure your life out.
or learn something.
Right.
Get a certificate. I don't know. Like, you
Okay.
can get these Google certifications
yeah.
like online, right?
Yeah.
You got to utilize your time to do something within that gap year.
Yeah. So not just sitting at home.
No,
And watching
I
TV.
will be like, are you serious?
Okay.
So yeah, just circling back to that point, I don't have an issue because I knew what it felt like
Mhm.
at that time for me. So I wouldn't want my kids to feel lost. I mean,
Okay.
are they going to be lost? Yes, they will.
Yeah.
But at least if you feel like you need that time to have a little bit of direction, I'm okay with it.
Right. Okay.
I am.
High school with, and they both agreed. Yeah, gap year is great. Like, cause then they could have took exactly your take, right? I'm like, and then they're they're like, oh, how about your son? Would you be okay? And I was like, no.
Why
I was
not?
like, no. I'm like, you go to your. I still
Well,
think that
because
way.
you do see the potential that he can.
Yeah, and
get
you can
there.
figure it out. So I think depends on the person.
Yeah.
But to me, if my son like, okay, sure, like you can switch concentration or faculty, but go to school first. Because I'm afraid of is once you get that freedom, you don't go back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sure, I can
I
make
agree
him
and I disagree.
yeah, I don't know. Like if maybe just
I think
looking
it's the
back.
fear of the unknown for you
Yeah.
that you're like, no. Like
Yeah.
you just keep going.
Yeah, you keep
know?
going. Like, because once you get a taste of freedom, once you get a taste of maybe making your own money, maybe not a lot of money, but some money, you don't want to go back to, university. And again, maybe that's totally okay. And, he could be making that 18-year-old making the app. That could be him too. But I
true.
just feel like, for me, I don't know if I want him to take that one.
See,
year
no,
off.
I think
that
it's
happens.
it really depends on the
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, it really does. The possibility that it brings to our future generation, I think it is good.
It is.
As a parent, like
there's
all I
so
want,
many opportunities that is still
Yeah.
undiscovered.
don't know. It's just a possibility.
It's that
It's
it
just-
really is
yeah,
endless. That's why
yeah.
I'm like, is school that important? I want to
Yeah,
know
I
what
don't
you
know.
guys
Like,
think.
yeah.
You
Do you
know,
think the relevance of it changes?
yes, as the time moves quickly
Mhm.
with the world of AI,
Yeah.
it's
It's
going to-
exciting, scary,
something to
but
keep unfolding.
yeah,
as
and
we go
I'm
by.
very interested in seeing how our next generation will, what they think of it,
Yeah.
how they deal with it. So
And meanwhile, I'm just trying to keep my year and a half old
Yes.
alive.
yes, he's gonna be better with AI than any of us.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Anyways.
yes,
Okay, well,
yes.
that kind of wraps up
Yes.
our episode for this week. We
Leave
want
us
to
some
know
comments on how you feel.
Yeah, we wanna
AI
know
will
what your thoughts
change
are.
Our kids'
Is
generation.
is school
education.
important? Did you guys go through elementary, high school, or junior high,
Traditionally,
high
yep.
school, post-secondary in the traditional path
Mm-hmm.
like Emily did, or did you do something like me where I tried that path and then
Mm-hmm.
again I work everything backwards?
Yep.
Or
Let us know.
yeah, or would you want your kids to be like some of these amazing entrepreneurs we were talking about at the beginning of the
Yeah.
episode where I don't know, maybe they did finish school, we don't exactly know,
Yeah.
or but they are millionaires
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
they're just so driven to make this
Yes.
app successful.
Yeah.
No? What are
Let
your
us know.
thoughts? Let us know. Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in. We will
Have
see
a great
you
week.
next Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.